expresiones impersonales. So let's move on to our impersonal expressions. Yes. Right? Even in English, in the few cases where we find the subjunctive, many times we find it after those impersonal expressions, right? Mommy is cute. And let's see. Here we have a fact. So we are going to expect the indicative. Es cierto, it is true, que mis amigos y yo estudiamos para los exámenes. That my friends and I study for tests. Muy bien, and now there is the opinion. That means that it may or may not happen, right? Es importante, it is important, que todos estudiemos para los exámenes. That everyone should study. We use the subjunctive with impersonal expressions that let us say an opinion. So we can say what we think is necessary, important, preferable, good, or bad. Fact. Presentamos la verdad. We do present the truth. Opinion. Es necesario que presentemos la verdad. Fact. Hago toda esta tarea. I really do all this homework. Opinion. Es importante que haga toda esta tarea. It's important that I do all this homework. Fact. Escribes 3 artículos. You write 3 articles. You are doing it. Opinion. Es preferible que escribas 3 artículos. It may or it may not happen, right? But I think it should happen. Tiene la cámara. She has the camera. Opinion. Es bueno que tenga la cámara. Fact. Publican ese titular. They really publish it. Es malo que publiquen ese titular. It. Gramática. Well, today we're going to learn the subjunctive form for I, and it would be haya. Haya. ¿Sí? Muy bien. And remember, it's not going to have a subject. It's going to be impersonal. So it can accompany both a singular or a plural noun. ¿Sí? Es importante que haya entrevistas. It's important that there be interviews. Gramática. Las preposiciones por y para. Muy bien. So why is it a problem for English speakers to use these prepositions? Well, in English, we use the preposition for to indicate sometimes cause, thanks for your help, and sometimes to mean destinations. The book is for you. In Spanish, we use 2 different prepositions to express these ideas. Por, when it is related to cause, and para, when it is related to destination. So they have similar meanings, even in Spanish, but different uses. Okay, remember, just like ser y estar, saber y conocer, even though they can be translated for the same word in English, we cannot use them interchangeably. So let's take a look at the main points of these two prepositions. Por, por is much more common than para. Okay, so in case you have you doubt, it's probably going to be por. Okay, there are many more possibilities that por is going to be the preposition you need than para. And what are the translations of this word? For. Notice that it's not going to help because we can translate para as for as well. Through, which is exclusive for por. So every time you mean through, you're going to use por. In, meaning around an area, is going to be por. When there is a cause, like because of, is going to be por. And by, depending on the context, what you mean by is going to be por as well. But in some instances, it could be para. See? What are the translations of para that do not correspond to por? One would be in order to. When you have a goal, when you have an objective, you're going to use para. To, when you mean direction, final direction of something, we're going to use para. So you see that we have many more contexts in which we use por than where we use para. So anytime there is cause or reason for something, por. Por eso, ella escribió el artículo. For that reason, because of that reason, right? She wrote the article. Means, either means of communication, means of transportation, we're going to use por. Te llamo por teléfono. I'll call you by phone. See? On the phone. Meaning by means of the phone. Periods of time. Vengo por la tarde. I'll come in the afternoon. Sometime in the afternoon, right? Periods of time, por. Through. Every time you mean through, it's going to be por. Okay, think about crossing in the middle of something. Los turistas pasan por la aduana. The tourists are going through customs. And for mathematical expressions, usually you're going to have por. Multiplication, 2 por 2 son 4. We're going to use por. Division, divided by, okay, that's where your by comes. 2 is going to be divided by, dividido por. And then proportions, percentages, that per is our por in Spanish. See? And then in the passive voice, okay, remember when the passive voice is one where the subject turns into the object, right? And the subject is passive, is not really doing the action of the verb. For that, we're going to use por. son hechas, they are made por artesanos. The agent of the action are the artisans. And we're going to uh, uh, let others know by por. Por is going to be the mark of that agent. Para. Notice that even though we have many points, they are very related. Okay? So every time you think about the end, the goal, the purpose, para. Okay? It's like our final destination. Practicamos para ganar el partido. In order to win. ¿Sí? Movement toward. Salimos para la escuela. We have that goal, that objective. We leave for school. And the recipient would be kind of the goal, right? Of a present, for example. Estas fotos son para Laura. Okay, remember those indirect objects? Many times they're going to be preceded by para. An opinion, para mí, to me, for me, in my opinion, es una cuestión de tiempo. ¿Sí? Deadlines, right? When you say this is the objective point when everything needs to be turned, right? Escribe el artículo para el viernes. Write the article by Friday, for Friday, ¿sí? And for employment, when you work for something or someone, we're going to use para. Sara trabaja para el periódico. ¿Sí? La princesa Mérida nos ayuda con las preposiciones. She's going to help us. As you can see, in red, we have all these por, right? The use of por is very, very general. The use of para, however, is very concrete, right? So, for example, if we want to look for the cause or the reason of, we could say that the hen, for example, is the reason of Mérida shooting, right? It's going to be por la mano, by means of the hand. Or it could also be means. We could also consider means the space that the arrow travels, right? That would be por. That would be the idea of por as well. When we think about movement through or around, for example, if you don't mean the exact objective, but places around or where the arrow is traveling through, right? That's all por. And then, of course, there would be Mérida, our agent, right? The one doing the action. The arrow is shot by Mérida, por Mérida. See? And notice that para, even though we can express it in a couple ways, it's just like the destination of that arrow, right? It's our goal, our purpose. See? It's the point toward, not really the movement, but just the point toward we are aiming. Or even the recipient, right? The arrow is gonna end in that bullseye,